Hello, ladies and gentlemen. James here. Hope you doing fine, doing well. Just checking out my my audio here, and I'll be right with you in a second. Well, I'm at the. You're probably wondering where I'm at. I'm at a local park here in Columbus, Ohio. Uh, I'm sitting here chilling out for the day. Um, damn. Trying to get some shade. Gotta watch where I'm stepping it. Like they had some visitors called the Canadian geese. I see they left some of their markings out here. So you gotta watch where you step at. Oh, so how you guys doing? I hope you're having a good weekend. Well, um, it's been interesting. I didn't get my door fixed because this guy's gonna help me with my door because unfortunately, I don't know if he forgot or he just didn't feel like he want to do it. The week before one of his father passed away, and so I'm gonna send my condolences. I'll probably go over there tomorrow with the family, and I think so. I get a chance. So hopefully by sometime till next week and after the rain, because the rain gonna come here in Ohio, I can get that window. The rain supposed to last for a couple of days, so hopefully we have another day like this. But it's gonna be in the 60s, so it's gonna probably be a little bit cool. Today is a nice day. It's warm, but nice, warm and sunny. I can't complain. You better. It's like some people say you better enjoy these with weather because it's like places like Ohio, the weather just changed from like within a 40-hour period. Like wow, you go from 80 to like damn near 30. It's just the way this thing is. So what is the topic I want to talk about? Oh, this is concerning Americans, whether you're black and whether you're white, whatever race you is. I've been watching online some things, and I come to the conclusion that there's some Americans that know how to have respect for other people's culture, but sometimes you bring some Americans that never left their American mentality back here in the States. What do I mean by that? I understand you can't be a pushover, but you got to be respectful and you have to be presentable, especially if you're going over to another person's country. I've seen a couple of cases where, right now, even a case down in Mexico that you have Americans and, some of them have to be gringos, what they call white, happen to, feel like they have the money and entitlement to go down and tell them people how, what they don't want around the area and try to make some influence. And right now, the Mexicans down in Mexico, they're pissed because they're like, Americans come over and they spend money and then it moved them out. And then not only that, it moved them out and gentrified the place like we notoriously do here, but it don't bring no solutions. You get some Americans that, they're not they want everything sent around because they speak English. In which we in America, you can look at it to a certain degree, but as an American, when you go down there into any country in the world, they're not obligated to speak English to you. You got to learn their language. So there's a two-way perspective about that. And one of the things about it is that, in America, in order to adapt to, when you go overseas and get your passport, get your money, you need some home training. In America, we need to basically, if you go around another cultural people, no matter if they're Caribbeans, Africans, Asians, Hispanics, or any European groups that's here, when you go into their presence, there's got to be a mutual respect. And same vice versa. When they come over here, they got to do it's the same way. But if we have this entitlement and everything got sent around, whatever, you're not going to be welcome over there. And so home training should start at home. And you don't come up at someone's home and tell them how the way they run their business and what they want to do. And this is what we're notorious for doing this. And now we're paying the price, when we approach everything with arrogance. And arrogance is going to cost us to be by ourselves. And not too many people ain't going to want to do business with it because they're about to shut us out. Because the way certain things that, this current administration is doing, what happened, the case with South Koreans where they was coming over here to help Americans make Americans a better future, and they wasn't going to stay that long. But to help Americans in Georgia, around Mississippi, and other states, they was about to invest a certain amount of money, which right now could have used because there are people losing their jobs all across this country. Not is in the federal government to the private sector, and you have this, you had this administration. They out of touch. They so out of touch with reality. It's not even funny, and people are frustrated, and so they're too busy trying to put crime in one area on the people, a certain area, but you come to find out that crime can happen in any area. We don't want to face this as Americans. We're taught to see the skin color. We're not taught to see nationality. When people in this country, the first thing we do, we execute. What are you? That's the first thing people want to know. Don't know, and it's the truth. It's not just one race of people. It's all races of people. If you have some kind of accent, they want to know who you are. And if you look like a particular group, they want to know who you are, because among some Americans, so we can think of something to call you when we have a disagreement with you. We think about what to call you if you don't agree with some of our opinion. We think of what's something to call you because what we see as appearance, it don't fit into the matrix of America. It don't fit into whether there's an inner city matrix, the suburban matrix, the rural matrix, and whatever. So everything got said, you got to get behind me. And that's the way it is, and that's what it's going to be. So that's the mentality of what we have in America. But some of us Americans kept this mentality, and the ones able to get out the country, some, not all, and I'm not particular on a particular ethnic group, whatever. It's a mindset that we have. And I understand there's some people over here come over with that mindset too, and it should be vice versa. This can go whatever country. When you come over to America, you got to give a certain amount of moral and what's the word I'm thinking about? Moral and an understanding of what we've been through and what you're currently seeing right now. This is what we need to understand. That this is what, in order to make us a better country, to make us a better nation, we need to know how to properly communicate with each other. And if we don't do it if we don't open our minds, we're going to lose out. The empire of America is already falling. It's falling fast than what you see across this country. It don't matter what state you live in. It don't matter what county you live in. No matter what they do, you have a certain mentality. Start at the top, that the leader in the country, it has cost everything. And while they're trying to say that, unemployment is down, but every day you see everyday Americans losing their job, laying off, don't know what they're getting fired for mediocre stuff because of their own political opinion, because somebody don't agree with something what somebody do. So, and they didn't pose a threat. They didn't say anything, but they just say, hey, for example, about the Charlie Kirk situation, they didn't agree with them. They didn't know him. They didn't like him. But it seemed like, if you don't agree with what I do, then I'm gonna call your job up and have you fired. That's not right, man. That's not freedom of speech. That's not cool at all. Everybody has the right to wait freedom of speech on who they like, whether it's political, whatever it's spiritual, whatever it is. Everybody has to. We don't have to be confined to one way of life. It haven't worked. It doesn't. It doesn't work whatsoever. You have to understand that we live in a global society, that we have to need other people. Now, them people that from South Korea was going to, if the Americans, that would have benefited the Americans down there in Georgia, my fellow Americans in Georgia, Mississippi, and probably Tennessee and all other states, but because some insecure prejudice, brought on by this government, had allowed, and now they trying to get back. They lost out of $350 billion with, again, generational wealth, but we have an ideology of Project 2025. We have an ideology of white nationalism. We have an ideology that two things is going to destroy this country. Nobody wants to deal with somebody where it's got to be this way, and that's it when it comes to business. That's not the way the world is. That's not the way the world is. And you have men, with this mindset like Trump and individuals like MAGA. And they don't understand this. They don't understand the way, you can't call the Chinese, call them out their name, but yet they want their business. You can't call the Africans out their name and want their business. That's not the way. That's not the way to go. Because you can't just your own reality that the people around you of color. You can't be blessed when you're trying to get black farmers are trying to do their part and contribute parts to society. If we would have come to work together as a society instead of having this kind of it's those people. If we got those people, we got to stop those people. We got to regress those people. We wouldn't be in the situation that it's in. How do you think you're going to be blessed with something when you're trying to oppress other people and try to make it into your ideal of America? It's not going to work. You're going to suppress the Latinos. You're going to suppress the Asians. You're going to suppress all these people and think that you're going to be on top. That's not the way the world is. And now the world see it not on a local scale, but on a grander scale. Now I know there's got to be a balance. I understand you can't have people that, if they're criminals, you have to, you can't let them into the country. I understand that. I understand that there's certain things that we should wait till our children to understand the sexuality and things. I definitely agree with you on that. But there's got to be a certain balance. We have to have a certain balance of what we do. That's the reason why we're suffering. That's the reason why we say that black on black crime. But right now, you're seeing white on white crime. And when they keep doing it, when they blame something like that, now you're hearing territory.